So hello and welcome to Tuesday's Yoga with Phil. Your practice today is at your own risk, so do please pay attention to how your body feels today, taking whatever options are right for your body. That could include missing something out if it's not what your body needs today. We're going to start standing up, so if you want to bring yourself to standing, making sure that you've got plenty of room in front of you and behind you. We're going to be taking a leg kick forwards and backwards, so you want to make sure there's nothing that your legs are going to hit as we do that. Once you're sure you've got enough space, before we start, just bring yourself to standing with your hands relaxing by your side. Just taking a moment to be aware of what that first standing position is like that you've come to. And then maybe making some refinements. So you could just take your shoulders back a little and let your shoulder blades relax. You can maybe just tilt your tailbone up a little so that your pelvis comes into a good position. Then letting your arms relax. Closing your eyes for a moment. And with your eyes closed, you can draw your awareness and attention inwards, ready for our yoga practice today. So you could take your attention to the tips of your fingers, to the soles of your feet. Then tuning to your breath and just being aware of your next two breaths, feeling the rise of the inhale, the gentle fall of the exhale. Then opening your eyes, making sure your feet are hip width, and then taking your weight over into your left foot, so you can pick your right foot up off the ground and then just start slowly to start penduluming your leg backwards and forwards. So keeping your leg straight, starting slow and low, but gradually increasing height and speed in line with how your balance is today. And once you've got a good pendulum back action, you could bring your arms into play so that they can join in as well, giving some warming at the shoulders. And if anybody wants an extra challenge, you could notice which arm and which leg are moving. So if you're going opposite arm, opposite leg, you could change to same arm, same leg. And if you're doing same arm, same leg, you could go to opposite for a little extra balance challenge. And then starting to slow that down. And then landing your right foot down, having a shake of the left. Back to standing feet hip distance apart. Taking your weight over onto the right foot, picking up the left, and then starting your pendulum action all over again. Again, still start slow and low on this side so that you're able to gradually pick up speed and height, finding that point just before your balance starts to go. Bringing your arms in when you're ready. And then maybe swapping the arm-leg configuration if you want an extra balance challenge. And a bit of a mental challenge as well. Then slowing that down so that you can land your left foot down, shaking the right, and coming to the top of your mat ready for sun salutations. At the top of your mat, bringing your feet together, hands relaxed by your side, crown of your head lifting to the ceiling, feet pressing into the mat, shoulders relaxed, tilting the top of your chest a little towards the ceiling, maybe just tilting your pelvis up a little so you're letting your tailbone relax down. And we'll just hold here for a moment, just while we let our breath settle after our leg kicks. And then we'll begin with 2 breaths. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale, bringing your palms together at the center of your chest, relaxing your shoulders, lifting your elbows. Reaching your hands up towards the ceiling. Stretch them as high as you can, then take them back, feeling your arms move back, your armpits move back, and your arms are almost as if they're controlling your rib cage. So as your arms come back, they tilt your rib cage up towards the ceiling. Looking between your hands. So you all know what's going to come next. We're going to lower down. But what I'd like to do today is keep your arms lifting and back as you then start to hinge forward from your hips, keeping your hands lifted, and they'll kind of control you on your way down for as long as you can. But when you need to, let your arms come down, let your knees bend, fingertips touching the mat, neck muscles relaxing, crown of your head pointing down towards the ground, relaxing your upper body over your legs. Taking your right foot all the way back, letting your gaze lift there, lowering your knee, placing the top of your foot on the ground, then tucking your right toes under and sending your left foot back to come into plank. Press the ground away from you in plank, relax your shoulder blades down your back, a little bit of core, so navel up towards your spine. Lower your knees, followed by your chest, making contact with your chin, or if you can reach maybe your forehead, then press forward as you lift your face and lift your chest. Shoulder blades ease back, elbows in close. Tucking your toes and lifting your hips, maybe taking them towards your heels first, so you come into our first down face dog. Lifting your hips high to the ceiling, pressing your hands low into the mat, heels firmly to the ground. So getting that perfect upside down V, taking your weight towards your legs. Looking between your hands, bringing your right foot through, left knee comes down. Find to lower your knees if that helps you to bring that leg through. Lifting your gaze, relaxing your hips. Springing your left foot through. Once more, finding that relaxation as your head hangs heavy. And we're going to do the same with the arms here. We're going to lead with the arms. So straightening your arms, starting to take them up to the ceiling, and let them lift you all the way up and back, looking between your hands. Then hands come down. Inhale. Exhale, palms firmly pressed together. Elbows lift, taking your elbows back a little, feeling your shoulders engage. Then reaching your arms up and back, taking them as far towards or past your ears as you can. Then lead from your hips, keeping a lift in your arms, hinging from your hips all the way down, bending your knees as much as you need, resting for a moment here. Taking your left leg all the way back, knee down, top of your foot flat on the ground. Letting your gaze lift and letting your hips relax downwards. So particularly thinking about your right hip crease, maybe taking that down and forward a little more to the ground, increasing the stretch on your right hip flexor. Tucking your left toes under, sending your right foot back. A strong straight line, shoulder blades easing back, heels pressing to the wall behind you, navel towards your spine. If you're feeling strong, you could bend your elbows and come down in one straight line, or you can lower knees, then chest to the mat. As long as you get there, it doesn't matter how, pressing you forward, lifting your face and lifting your chest into Cobra, then tucking your toes, lifting your hips back to down face dog. Hips lift to the ceiling, heels press down, hands press down. Seeing if you can press your hands away from you to help your chest head towards your knees. Feeling your armpits descend a little bit towards the mat. And as your heels press down, seeing if you can send the back of your thighs more towards the wall behind you. Looking between your hands, bringing your left foot through, taking your right knee down. If you've got time and can remember, just flattening the top of your foot onto the ground here as well. Then springing your right foot through, relaxing into your forward fold. And then leading with your arms again as you stretch your arms upwards. Let your arms lead you up, looking between your hands, tilting your rib cage to the ceiling, then hands come down. Inhale, exhale. So we're going to take 2 more rounds of sun salutations, but we'll take these with our breath. The first round we'll take at regular speed, and we're just going to take the second round a tiny bit faster. If you find it's faster than you need, then it's absolutely fine for you to take it at the pace that's right for you. Hands relaxing, crown of your head lifting. Beginning with our rest breath. Inhale, exhale, palms press firmly together. Inhaling, stretching and reaching up and back, leading with your arms. Exhale, stretching and reaching forward and down, your arms controlling your descent. Inhale, right leg back, knee down, let your hips relax. Hold your breath, left foot back. Press your hands away from you in plank, looking between your hands. Exhale as you lower. Inhale, face and chest lifts, shoulder blades ease back. Exhaling, toes tuck and hips lift to the ceiling. Hands press down, heels press down. Inhale, right foot through, left knee down, lift your gaze. Exhale, left foot through. Forward fold, relaxing with the exhale. Inhaling, leading with your arms, reaching up and back. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, exhale, palms together. Inhaling, reaching up and back. Exhaling, forward and down. Inhale, left leg back, knee down, lift your gaze. Hold your breath, right foot back, looking between your hands in plank. Exhale as you lower. Inhale, pressing forward, lifting face, lifting chest. Exhale, toes tuck, hips lift on high, guiding your chest back towards your knees. Inhale, left foot through, right knee comes down. Exhale, right foot through. A forward fold, take a rest here while you can. Inhaling, stretching and reaching up and back. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, let's take an extra breath. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, palms pressed together. Inhale, stretching and reaching up. Exhale, forward and all the way down. Inhale, right leg back, knee down, gaze lifts. Hold your breath, left foot back. Shoulder blade ease down your back. Exhale, knees, then chest to the ground. Inhale, lifting to cobra. Exhale, toes tuck, hips lift to down, face dog. Inhale, right foot through, left knee comes down. Exhale, left foot through, forward fold. Inhale, stretching and reaching up and back. Exhale, hands down. Inhale. Exhale, palms pressed together. Inhale, reaching up and back. Exhale, forward and down. Head hangs heavy. Inhale, left leg back, knee down, hips relax. Hold your breath, right foot back, finding strength in your plank. Exhale to lower, knees then chest all one straight line. Inhale, face and chest lifts. Exhale, toes tuck, hips lift on high, hands pressed down. Inhale, left foot through, right knee down. Exhale, right foot through. Forward fold, relaxing for that moment. Inhaling, stretching and reaching up and back. Exhale, hands down. Taking your feet apart, palms face forward. 2 cooling breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Bringing yourself then to lying down, finding your most comfortable posture. That may well be Shavasana pose, with your feet out to the corners of your mat, hands away from your body and your palms turned up. Once you're there, maybe have your attention at your breath. noticing as it slows back down to its resting rate. And we're going to take a stretch of our hips with yoga's least elegant posture, happy baby pose. But we're all in the privacy of our own rooms and no one's watching. So to prepare, bend your knees, bringing your feet in towards you, then bring your knees onto your chest, drawing your knees firmly into your chest so that they come good and close. Then lifting your head, letting your knees widen a little as you reach your hands forward to take a hold, if you can, at the outside edges of your feet. You can take the inside edges if the outside edges are a bit of a stretch. Then taking your head back down and bringing your feet with you, seeing if you can land the back of your head onto the ground while still holding your feet, adjusting your grip as you need to. And then once you get there, drawing your knees down the outside of your body towards your armpits. Keeping your breath nice and steady as you do that. Maybe using your exhale. Each time you breathe out, take that as your chance to bring your feet a bit closer, taking hold of your shins if your feet aren't accessible. So every time you exhale, seeing if your knees can come down towards the ground a little more. Maybe tilting your tailbone down to the ceiling. Down to the ceiling, that won't work. Tilting your tailbone down towards the ground. And maybe putting a little bit of upward pressure of your feet into your hands. You get a bit of tension, an extra stretch, and loading on your arms. Taking one more breath. And then releasing your feet. Stretching your legs away from you. Letting your feet relax outwards, taking your arms by your side, turning your palms to face up. Maybe taking a little rock side to side with your buttocks, just to get a little bit of some release there. Then bringing that to a halt. So for our core today, we're going to take dynamic crow. So we're going to really give the top and bottom of our core muscles a thorough working. So extending your arms up above your head and pressing your heels away from you. So you're making yourself as long as you possibly can. If you're watching the video and you haven't done dynamic crow before, you might want to watch it first before you take dynamic crow yourself. So with your arms stretched out, your heels stretching away, start to lift your legs away from the ground, start to lift your upper back away from the ground, bending your knees then so that your knees come in, making contact somewhere along the back of your arms. It gets stronger the closer to your elbows that you are, then stretching it all the way out. So you want to keep your navel drawing down towards your spine, taking this with your breath. So as you exhale, you bring everything in. And as you inhale, you take everything out, stretching as long as you can. Keep that navel drawing down. If you want to lighten the load, because this is strong, you could not send your legs out straight. You could come to landing your soles of your feet down with your knees bent. If you want to make it a bit stronger, don't land your heels down so that you keep working throughout. And if doing legs and upper body stronger than you need, you could have your knees bent and on one breath take a lift of your legs and on the other breath take a lift of your upper body. So plenty of options. I think you've probably got about 2 more left in you, but only take those if that's what your body does have. And then once you're done, let your arms relax above you. So bending your elbows so your arms can just relax on the ground above you. Let your feet relax apart. directing the next few in-breaths all the way down into your abdomen, so that as you breathe in, your abdomen lifts, as you exhale, your abdomen falls. If your arms aren't comfortable above your head, it's absolutely good and fine to bring them down by your side. Then bringing your hands down by your side and preparing for shoulder stand. Again, if you're watching the video and haven't done shoulder stand before or not done it for a while, then you might want to watch the video and then rewind. Otherwise, preparing for shoulder stand by bringing your legs together, taking your hands in close. You could take your hands underneath your buttocks a little if you like, to help you to lift your hips. Most important thing is that your elbows are in really good and close. Maybe just before you do anything, taking a lift of your head, taking your chin down to your chest, then landing your head back down. And once you're there, lift your legs, followed by your hips in whatever way you have found works for you. If straight legs don't work, you might want to take bent knees so that you can get a little bit of momentum to allow yourself to lift. If you have high blood pressure, then full shoulder stand like this isn't for you. But what you could do is take a leg lift, so you elevate your legs, and if you've got something to raise your hips, then that will make that more effective and more comfortable. Once you're into shoulder stand, just adjust your shoulder stand to make it comfortable and effortless. So that might mean lowering your legs, maybe feeding your back up through your hands as you do that. Or you might find it's better for you to have your legs more lifted, feeding your more your buttocks into your hands. Keeping your upper arms pressing into the mat to give you your stability, pressing your shoulders and all your arms all the way down to your elbows into the ground. Keeping your gaze looking up. I'm looking sideways to the camera, but you should be keeping looking up towards your knees. And then just maybe adjusting how much you're pressing your hips into your hands, sending weight into your elbows, versus how much you're lifting your hips and sending weight down your upper body into your shoulders. So knowing that it's fine to stay here or to come out if you're ready, or if you want to take the pose of tranquility, then I'll give some instructions for that. First step would be just to take your hips back a little so that the weight comes out of your hands, allowing you to take one hand, then the other down towards the ground. And if you're ready to come out, this would be the way to come out as well, lowering your hips. But if you're taking the pose of tranquility, you could then bring one hand around and place it onto a shin. If that feels good and comfortable and balanced, you could bring the other hand round, or take the first hand back and swap it for the other. If you find yourself in the pose of tranquility, then start to work on balancing this out. Making sure that you've got as much of your upper back on the ground as you can. It can be easy to lift the upper back here and bring all the weight onto your neck and shoulders. You want to have as much of your upper back in contact with the ground. You want your arms straight and your legs relaxed, so they're just resting on your arms, and your straight arms can easily hold your legs. Then if you're in the pose of tranquility, bringing your hands back around, maybe one at a time, onto your hips. Reset your shoulder stand briefly. Then maybe taking your hips back a little bit, taking them out of your hands so you can take one hand followed by the other down to the ground. And slowly, with control, you can drape your upper back down onto the ground. Laying it down nice and slowly, using what control you have. You might have a little jump on the way down, then stretching your legs out, turning your palms to face up, relaxing everything, and taking a few breaths, letting your body adjust back to head, heart, legs, being back in one line. For a counter pose today, we'll take the fish pose, Matsyasana. Bending your knees so you can lift your hips, placing your hands underneath your hips. Press your hands away from you and bring the sides of your thumbs together, elbows in as close as you can. Once your hands are in position, lower your hips back down. So you will be sitting on your hands, stretching your legs out, bringing your feet together. Once you're there, focus first on just pressing your upper arms down. So everything from your shoulder to your elbows. As you do that, feeling your chest start to lift up to the ceiling and maybe helping that a bit, pressing the centre of your chest up towards the ceiling there. Then all the attention turns to your forearms, so pressing your lower arms into the ground, pressing your elbow into the ground, bending your elbow, allowing you to start to lift your upper body, keeping your head in line with your spine, pressing your hips firmly down into your hands. Once you've got some lift, you can then rest your head back, either placing the back of your head, or you might be able to get the crown of your head onto the ground. Once your head's resting on the ground, keep the weight in your elbows. So your elbows pressed down, doming your chest up towards the ceiling. Keeping your breath steady. Seeing if you can lift the centre of your shoulder blades a little higher from the mat, taking your shoulders back. Then as you next inhale, press into your elbows so you lift your head away from the ground, tuck your chin down to your chest, and slowly drape your back down onto the ground, releasing your hands and taking a twist of your wrists to release after having sat on them. Then reaching your arms back, interlacing your fingers if that's comfortable, pointing your palms away from you, pressing your toes away, so stretching out as long as you can, and then even a little bit longer. Releasing that stretch, bringing your hands by your side and coming to sitting. Wonderful. So we've given our necks a good stretch and work there, so we'll give them a release when you're ready, turning your head to the right, turning it as far as your neck's comfortable to go, then to the centre and around to the left, to the centre and the right. Keeping your chin nice and level. Centre and the left. And back to the centre. So we're going to take Upavista Konasana, a wide leg forward fold. So I'm just going to get myself ready. So things that you might want to have something to elevate your hips, or in other words, something to sit on. So that could be a cushion, it could be a block. You might even want to take 2 blocks to help you to bring yourself forward. And then once you've got your blocks, you can then bend your knees and then take your legs out to the side and straighten your legs out. And once you're there, you might want to take your hands behind you and maybe press into your hands and heels so you can lift away from the floor of the block, and then send your sitting bone back and place yourself back down so that you're more on the front of your hips, maybe feeling you're really sitting on your thighs rather than your seat. Once you're there, with your fingers pressing into the ground, lifting your chest, taking your shoulders back, pointing your knee up to the ceiling. So you might want to roll your thighs outwards a little bit, so you're pressing more the outer thighs down. And then lifting both arms. Stretching your arms nice and wide. Bringing your hands together and clasping tight. Then imagining the cauldron that's between your knees, starting a small stir. So start stirring the centre of the pot. So this movement is all coming from your hips. So you're rolling around in your hips, your upper body, drawing a circle. Your focus is on your tummy button, drawing a circle with that. Making this circle bigger and really using your arms. So you're taking your arms as far wide as you can. You're sitting as far back as you can, as far forward as you can. Then taking that in the other direction. Now making this as big a sweeping movement as you can. Then starting to make your stir a little smaller so that you're coming back to the center. Releasing your hands, lowering them down. Maybe bending your knees, bringing your feet in towards you, and just taking a moment relaxing. So taking your arms over your legs, letting your head relax down just for a moment. So that was the warm-up. We're now going to take the forward fold. So letting your legs stretch back out. Maybe seeing if you can take them a little wider. I haven't found a better way to do this other than kind of getting your legs as wide as you can. Then pressing your hands back. Maybe just seeing if you can lift your weight into your hands. So you can just take your sitting bones back a little bit more so that you're bringing yourself, allowing yourself to come more easily forward. If you're on a block, you might want to be on the edge of the block to help that pivot forward. Then pressing into your hands behind you, pressing yourself forward. Now if as you do that, your experience of this is that you're still sitting back, then I would absolutely recommend you bend your knees, bringing your feet in towards you, so that as you press into your hands behind you, you get that point where you are starting to come forward, where your centre of gravity has come forward. So however you've then got forward, you could bring your hands in front of you. Stretching your arms out, taking a lift of your chest so you're nice and long. So you're growing from the base of your spine, your tailbone, all the way to the crown of your head. And then starting to slowly but surely work yourself forward, drawing your hands forward. Maybe using your breath so that every time you inhale, you just pull yourself forward a little more, stretching your head forward, bringing your navel forward, and every time you exhale, you relax your upper body down towards the ground. If you've got a bend in your knees, you might now find you can just press your heels away a little more with each breath, so that your knees come down towards the ground. But don't allow that to let you sit back up. So this is one of those postures that really shows the difference in us as people. For some of us, the head will come to the ground. For others of us, we will get a little bit of forward movement. The main thing is we're all getting a fantastic stretch down the back of our legs. So wherever you are, you're getting those stretches. So just using your breath, easing forward on the inhale, relaxing on the exhale. And then if your legs are straight, what you might want to do is take your hands and reach around to your feet. That could be taking a hold of your shins or your ankles. It could be, you might be able to get your first and second finger through your big toe and second toe. And then still inhale, easing forward, exhale, relaxing down. Taking one more breath. Then if your hands are out at the side, bring them back into the centre. Have your arms nice and straight. Slowly walking yourself back, lifting yourself back up. Nice and slowly. Once you're lifted up, taking your hands underneath your knees, lifting your knees, bringing your feet in, and stretching your legs forward, taking a shake. It's a strong posture. Just take a couple of breaths. And then from there, removing anything that you've been sitting on, and coming to stand on your knees at the end of your mat. So we're going to take a lunge, and we're also going to have a chance to stretch our hips a little more. We've got quite a lot of hip action in today's class. So standing on your knees with your feet hip distance apart. If you've got a hard floor underneath you and this is a bit tough on the knees, then do maybe double your mat over or even triple your mat over underneath your knees just to give you a bit of cushioning there. Then take your right foot forward. With your right foot forward, bring your hands either side of that foot. Shimmying that foot forward as much as you need so that your ankle is in front of your knee and you have a gentle slope away from you on your shin. I'm just going to adjust my camera. And there, just let your hips relax towards the ground, particularly letting that right hip crease come forward and down. Then bring your right hand onto your right knee. Keep your hips relaxed and low as you then press into that knee to lift yourself upright, bringing your left hand onto your knee as well. So that should trigger the stretch all the way down this left leg, feeling your hip flexor stretch. So from here, maybe seeing if you can then bend your front knee a little more, sinking your hips lower. You've got control here. If you bring your chest forward, the stretch goes. If you take your chest back a little more, it will come stronger. So finding a good level of stretch for you. Fine to stay here. If you want to make it a little stronger, you can lift your arms up towards the ceiling. Now, if you're feeling it all wobbly, you could just move your foot a little more, your front foot a little more out to the right. That will give you a bit more stability. Reaching your hands up to the ceiling. And if you want more, you could look up between your hands. And leading with your arms, take your arms back, tilting your rib cage up to the ceiling, relaxing your hips down to the ground. So getting crescent moon here, feeling that stretch in the left hip flexor, only taking it as far as your hip flexor is good to go with. Then if you're looking up, look forward. And everyone, as you next exhale, bring your hands back down either side of your front foot. From there, maybe just bringing yourself back a little, maybe coming up just for a moment to straighten this leg, giving it a breather. And then bringing yourself back down. Hands either side of your front foot. And taking your right hand inside your right leg. So we're going to take lizard pose. Turning your right foot out to 45 degrees. And then slowly just walking your hands forward, bringing your chest down the inside of that leg. Take it slowly. You want your chest to come down nice and evenly. It's tempting to take your left elbow down to the ground, but you'll then start to ease up on the stretch in the hip. So focus more on taking your right elbow towards the ground as you lower. All this talk of elbows to the ground may not be working for everybody. So if your elbows aren't bending, just focus on walking your hands forward, bringing your chest evenly down towards the mat. Maybe letting your neck muscles relax so that your head can relax down to the ground. And then using your breath as you exhale, take that as the chance to relax down a little more. If this feels really comfortable and balanced to you and you want a little addition, you could tuck your left toes under and lift your left knee. Taking one more breath. And if your left knee is lifted, lowering it down. Walking your hands in so you're straightening back up. Turning your foot face forward again. Bringing your right hand outside your right leg. And then walking yourself back up. and bringing your right leg back. You might then want to just come to standing and have a little bit of a walk out of that. Because what we've just done is we've stretched our left hip flexor and really stretched our right hip. And then bringing yourself back to kneeling, ready to do the right hip flexor and stretch the left hip. So making sure you've got the padding you need for your knees, and then bringing your left foot forward. Hands come down either side of the foot. So this is really a good time to focus in on how your body's feeling. This posture allows you to be very strong in the hip flexor stretch and the hip stretch and the hip opening. So only take it as far as your body's good to go. Making sure your ankle is in front of your knee, and then relaxing your hips down. Taking your left hand onto your left knee, keeping your hips relaxed as you press into that hand so you lift your torso upright. Bringing your right hand onto the knee as well. Taking a moment here, using your out breath to let your hips relax down a little more. Seeing if you can bend that knee and sink down like that. So knowing that you can stay here, and if this is as far as your right hip flexor needs today, that's perfect. If you want more, you could lift your hands away from the knee. Stretching your arms up to the ceiling first, and then maybe looking up between your hands, taking your arms back, taking your armpits back with them, tilting your chest up towards the ceiling. So you're lifting your rib cage, tilting it up, forward and up, relaxing your hips as you do that. Keeping your breath steady. If you're looking up, look forward. And then everyone, as you next exhale, bringing your hands down either side of that foot. Straightening that leg and coming back just to get a breather on your left leg. Then landing the sole of your foot back down, hands either side of your left leg. Bringing your left hand inside the right leg. Left hand inside the left leg. Turning your left foot out 45 degrees. And again, really paying attention to how your left hip feels as you just slowly walk your hands forward. You might find your elbows bend and come down towards the ground. Letting your left knee head out to the left side. Letting your neck muscles relax. Feeling that stretch in that hip. An extension for those who want it could be to tuck your right toes under and lift your right knee. Using your out breath, relaxing a little more in that left hip as you exhale. Then if your knees raised, lower your knee and then walk your hands back towards you so you're coming back up. Turning your left foot to face the front, left hand outside the left leg. And then starting to walk yourself back, straightening that leg as you do so. Bringing your foot back and coming up to standing. Marching that out. Rotating your hips. Doing anything that feels like it's a good thing to do just to ease that. In fact, after a bit of marching out, you might want to bring your feet hip distance, hands on hips, and just rotate your hips. Pay special attention to the bit at the front, really allowing your hips to come forward at the front, giving them a nice stretch out, taking that in the other direction. And then bringing that to a halt. Coming to sit down on your mat, ready to take a twist. If as you sit here with your legs stretched out, that takes effort and isn't completely restful, then do sit on a block. But I'm going to treat myself to a block. So then with your legs stretched out, pick up your right foot, bringing your right foot across your left leg, drawing it in as close as you can. Then hugging your left arm around that leg. So you're taking as much of your arm around as you can, really hugging it in. And as you do that, drawing it in towards you, lifting your chest towards that knee, drawing the knee in towards your chest. Bringing them into contact even if your body allows that. Or if not, contact as close as you can so that you're really straightening your upper body. Then lifting your right arm up towards the ceiling. Stretching as tall as you can. And then keep that height as you take that hand behind you, pressing your fingertips into the ground. Then when you next exhale, just start taking your chest around slowly to the right. Taking your right shoulder back, that can lead your chest around. Then taking your gaze over your right shoulder if you're next comfortable to do that. Making sure that your chin is level. You're neither looking up nor down. Using your next two breaths as you inhale, pressing into your back hand and re-straightening. So feeling your chest come towards your knee, and as you exhale, easing yourself round a little more. Using your left arm, using your upper body strength. Making sure that your left leg is still active, maybe pressing your left heel away. Taking one more breath. And as you next exhale, just relax everything and bring yourself back to face the front. Stretch your right leg out, shaking, and then bringing your left foot across your right leg. Bring it in close. Then take your right arm firmly around that leg. So yeah, I like that. I've just seen someone, Janice, thank you. Maybe let's take this again. Take your arm out to the side. And then really bring it around, reaching, so you get that fantastic grip. Much better, nice. So from there, taking your left hand up in the air. So left hand up in the air, growing as tall as you can. So you're feeling your upper body lift. Keep that height as you then take that hand down behind you. So it's only your arm moving. Then as you next exhale, start turning your chest around to the left. So leading your chest round, taking your left shoulder back, turning your gaze over your left shoulder. Now with that fantastic grip on your leg, you can draw your knee in closer, but you can also take it a little bit over to the right hand side, which will maybe give you a bit more stretch in your piriformis in your left buttock. Using your next 2 or 3 breaths, inhale, pressing into your hands, straightening. Exhale, easing yourself round a little more. Taking one more good breath, one more good twist. Then on your next exhale, relax and bring yourself back to face the front. Stretch your left leg out, have a shake. Coming from there up to standing, ready for a standing posture. We're going to take Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. So Warrior 2 lets us benefit from the work we've been doing to open our hips today. So coming sideways on your mat, and then taking your legs nice and wide. Wide as they'll comfortably go, but not so wide that you lose all stability and control. Hands come onto your hips, turning your left foot in towards you, and your right foot to point away from you. Then using your hands, just guide yourself back around, so as much as possible you're lining up with the long edge of your mat. And we want to make the left leg really strong and active. So press the left foot down into the ground, feeling that left knee come back a little bit towards the wall that's behind you. That will switch these muscles on. Once you can feel that bit of engagement, then really firm them up, drawing them up towards your hips so that those legs are completely strong and holding you firmly. Keep that grip there. As on your next exhale, you start to slowly bend your right knee, sending it more towards your little toes rather than where it will naturally want to go, which is towards your big toe. Once you've come as low as you can, just make sure your ankle is in front of your knee. So do shimmy your foot forward if you need to. This back leg is still strong. The back foot's pressing down, the knee's easing back, the muscles are switched on. With this leg, keep the foot pressing firmly down. See if you can maybe draw this knee in towards your little. And as you do that, you might find this left hip just comes forward a touch, and that's absolutely fine as long as your torso is then facing forward. Then as you next inhale, lifting your arms and stretching them wide. Turning to look over the middle finger of your right hand, keeping the back foot firm and solid, keeping the front foot pressing into the ground, drawing that hip in. And then we'll take a couple of breaths here. So as you inhale, stretch your hands wider, and as you exhale, sink lower. Inhaling, hands wide. Exhaling, sink. Holding here for one more good breath, hands wide. Then as you next inhale, slowly straighten your front leg, bring your hands onto your hips, face your feet forward, and then bring heel toe your legs back together. Just take a little bit of a whatever you need to do. And then taking your legs back out nice and wide. And I can see those warrior twos were looking strong and also low from all of the work we've been doing. So really being able to flex your hips. Turning your right foot in and your left foot out. Bring your hips back around to face the long edge of your mat. Pressing your back foot down firmly, easing that knee back, strengthening the leg, drawing the muscles up towards your hips. So this leg is fully engaged. As you next exhale, slowly bending your left knee, sending the knee towards your little toes of that foot, keeping your torso upright. When you come as low as you can, check with your ankle, make sure it's in front of your knee. Then strengthening this leg, your foot's pressing down, this knee's drawing in a little bit, drawing your thigh bone firmly into the socket. Maybe allowing this left hip, right hip to come forward just a touch, but keeping your torso turned to face forward. Then lifting your arms, stretching them wide. Turning your gaze over the middle finger of your left hand, keeping your legs strong and active. As you next inhale, stretch your hands wider. As you exhale, sink a little lower. Keep your legs strong, particularly that back leg pressing into the ground. Next inhale, hands stretch wider. As you exhale, sinking lower. Holding there for breath, hands stretch wide. Hips sinking if you can. On your next inhale, straighten your front leg, bringing your hands down to your hips, turning your feet to face forward, and then heel toeing your feet back together. Taking a shake. So we're just going to finish with a balance. And we're going to take one-legged chair pose for our balance. Now I haven't got a head. So, to prepare for the balance, let your hands relax by your side. Let your shoulders relax. And just take a couple of breaths. A calm mind balances best. So with those breaths, allow yourself to feel the rise of the inhale and allow the exhale to go all the way down to the soles of your feet, grounding you firmly to the earth. And if you close your eyes, open your eyes. Picking up your left foot and crossing your left ankle above your right knee. By the way, if you do want to be stood near something that you can just touch onto if you need to, then please do. Taking your left knee back a little and letting your hands just relax in front of you. Slow as you like, then hinging forward from your hips so that you're allowing your fingertips to just drift down towards the ground. When you've gone as far as you can, or your fingers have touched the ground, whichever comes first, you can slowly start bending your right leg. So you're bending your standing knee as if sitting down into an invisible chair. Bringing your hands then to your heart center. Take a little lift of your chest. See if you can sit down a little more deeply. Keeping your gaze on something solid on the ground just in front of you. Very nice. Then as you next inhale, slowly bringing yourself back up. And as you exhale, everything lowers back down. Wonderful. Hands relaxed by your side once more. Feeling the soles of your feet against the ground. When you're ready, picking up your right foot this time, crossing it, your ankle above your left knee. Hands relaxed in front. When your balance has established itself, you can slowly start hinging forward from your hips. Your fingertips are just drifting towards the ground until you've either come as low as you can or your fingertips have touched the ground. Then starting to bend your standing leg so you're sitting down into your chair. Then bringing your hands to your heart center. A little lift of your chest maybe there as you continue to sit yourself down into the chair. Breaths nice and steady. As you next inhale, slowly rising back up. Exhale, lowering your hands, lowering your leg, shaking your left leg. And then from there, preparing for some final relaxation. So putting on anything that you want to put on. Having something for the back of your head to rest on. Bringing yourself to a comfortable lying down position. That may well be Shavasana, feet out to the corners of the mat, hands away from your body and palms turned up. But it's absolutely fine to have your knees bent, particularly if there's any discomfort in your lower back. Or even if there isn't, if that feels more comfortable to you, then take a knee bend. Being aware of the back of your body resting on the ground. We've worked hard this class. So allow your body to rest easy. And allow your next few exhales to help your body relax a little bit more with each breath out. Feeling the contact with the ground become a little firmer, allowing you to let go a little bit more. So I'm not going anywhere, I'll keep an eye on the clock, you just have to rest and relax. Holding still for a little longer, slowly bring your awareness back, being aware that you're lying there on your mat. Bringing movement back when you're ready with a wriggle of your fingers and toes. Bringing your legs together, taking your arms above your head for a gentle stretch out. And releasing that stretch, bending your knees, bring your knees up onto your chest. Take a rock side to side. And then bring your rock to a halt. Let your feet come down. And from there, maybe coming by the right hand side for a breath or two, slowly bring yourself back up to sitting. Wonderful to see you all. Thank you everyone who's joined me live and anybody who's watching the video. Namaste. Thank you.